Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let us begin. It's 10 o'clock. Welcome to the REIMAGINE Cambridge Alumni Family Day 2021, the BIZAlum Innovation in Business Forum, titled Game Changers with Creative and Innovative Ideas. My name is Linda from the BIZAlum, and I'm your MC for this morning. So some housekeeping rules, which is on this slide here, but I'll just read a few things. This session will be recorded for archival and marketing purposes. And do post your questions in the chat panel below, and your questions will be reviewed and grouped with similar questions. The panel will respond to the questions only after the Q&A session, right at the end. We hope to be able to address all questions. So now, to start off the program, let's give a warm welcome to George Heng, Director of NUS BIZAlum Office. George is over there, I suppose, yes. And Jenny, Jinjing, and myself are from the BIZAlum team. So let's begin by introducing all the speakers to start off with. So we have the speakers with Mr. Manjesh Basavarajaiah from EMBA 23, Mr. Tong Heng, EMBA 2008, Mr. JC Sekar from EMBA 2009, Mr. Abhay Swarup Mittal from EMBA 2009, Mr. Derrick Loi from EMBA 2014, and Mr. Luigi Tona from EMBA 2021. Let me call on the first speaker now, Mr. Manjesh Basavarajaiah from NUS Business School, EMBA 2023, Associate Director of Finance, Goodera. The topic of his presentation is Campus Fund, Creating a Generation of Student Entrepreneurs. So the Campus Fund is Asia's first and only student-led venture capital firm investing in student-led startups who get capital, mentorship, and guidance to invest by the fund. Manjesh, please.
Thanks, Linda. Good morning, everyone. This is Manjesh joining in from Bangalore, India. I am a student of the current cohort of the EMBA, graduating in 2022. So I'm new to NUS. I'm only with in the second segment of the NUS EMBA program that's currently going on. And I'm here to introduce you to Campus Fund. Campus Fund is a student-led venture capital fund, right? Currently serving out of India. So if you can recall your college days or at the university when you had, you probably had a path-breaking business idea, or one of your colleagues was very enterprising, but the idea never really took off, or you could not start a business, possibly because of, two reasons. One would be lack of financial resources. The other could possibly be lack of experience or mentorship, right? So a bunch of us, we felt it was necessary to build a bridge and to tap on these young minds, on these fresh business ideas, which could help these student entrepreneurs build their businesses. So that led to the birth of Campus Fund. So Campus Fund, I would like to proudly say, is Asia's first and only venture capital fund, which is truly for the students and run by the students. So we will learn about the model in detail in the next few slides. So we're trying to transform the Asia's entrepreneurial ecosystem such that starting a company while being a student becomes an attractive, respected, lucrative, and achievable career path, right? Because while being a student, we would definitely have doubts on ourselves before we could possibly venture out to be an entrepreneur. One, like I said, because of the lack of experience, even if someone had to, show their confidence on us with investing their funds. So we just not only bring capital for your business, but also mentorship, right? So that is why we possibly have a very unique model where we want to categorize ourselves as venture angels, where we collaborate with the startups and help them grow their network. The central team, the team at Campus Fund, has been in the business for about 15 years now. So, in one way or the other, right? And so we have a deep industry connect, which we help connect with the startup that we invest in and then help them scale their businesses. So we give them hands-on experience, and then we invest at a very early stage. We have been very founder-friendly in the approach, and then our deal cycle is mostly between 45 days to 60 days. So you have a very quick turnaround time in terms of getting cash in your bank account. Our ecosystem consists of majorly three segments. One would be our investors, the LPs that invest in Campus Fund. We take money from the LPs. They get access to Asia's innovative, very bright minds at a very early stage, right? They get a view of where the ecosystem is, or the entrepreneurial ecosystem is, traveling towards, and then they get to support the next generation of Asia. We try and take in very experienced people as our investors, so that they can also connect with the student entrepreneurs and they can help them grow. They can use their experience and mentorship to scale, like I said. The second part of our ecosystem is Student Investment Committee. Basically, what we do is we partner with leading business schools or tech schools. We onboard student investment partners who actually source these startups for us to evaluate and then make the investment. So through the next few slides, I will also show you the current team that we have, right? How we have sourced them. So basically, these student investment partners are currently students at the university, either at a B school or a tech school, and then they help us source these startups. Plus, we have an investment committee which consists of these student investment partners who vote or at the investment committee meeting to whether to invest in a startup or not invest in a startup. So as such, being a student, they have the power to not only source, but also to decide on which startup to go ahead with. As a central team at Campus Fund, we only try to be enablers of the ecosystem, where we bring together student founders as well as other students who possibly think this is a good idea to go ahead and start with. That's why I said Asia's first and only student-led VC. So we are truly student-led. One, also because all the founders are currently students, or the student committee takes the decision on which startup to invest in, and we purely invest in student-led startups. That is, students who are currently at the university or have passed out in the last 3 years, right? The third part of our ecosystem consists of the student founders themselves. So these are sourced from the existing universities, or people, like I said, have passed out of a university in the last 3 years. We give them a capital up to 70,000 Singapore dollars, AWS credits. We support them with their finance, legal, or HR, or any technical related stuff too, right? We give them advisory support from seasoned entrepreneurs. We give them access to some of the best talents across the industry. So because of the experience that we have, the current cohort of student investment partners were selected from the 10 of India's best business schools and tech schools, like I said. We received about 249 applications, of which about 26 of the brightest minds were selected. We have about 10 student investment partners. Student investment partners are basically the ones who get to vote at the investment committee, and they are supported by 15 student scouts. So this mostly works like an internship while studying at the university for these people, right? And all of these people come from very diverse background. So that way we get to source startups that are also from various regions, various backgrounds. And then because these student investment partners evaluate these student startups that are sourced, we get different perspectives and different views, having sourced the uh, from different universities and also having student investment partners from across the country. Some of our early believers in Campus Fund in India includes AWS, HDFC, Freshworks, Khaitan Legal Associates, Wadhwani Foundation, Creator Fund, Health Start, right? So they have been with us either as our advisors or LPs and in various other forms. So our central team consists of 3 people, and we are also supported by some of the brightest minds in the industry. So Richa, who is the main founder of Campus Fund here in India, has been in the business for quite some time. Right? She's been a founder of the current company that I'm currently working with. It's called Goodera. It's a tech startup. It's a platform for CSR and sustainability and volunteering. Right. We have raised around $18 million from the likes of Amidya, Nexus, and everything. Right. And we have Chiranjeev, who is an MBA from ISB, and I am there as the finance team and someone who supports Campus Fund with all the operations and everything. We have 2 other supporters, one from HEC Paris, the other one who is the CEO of Creator Fund, which is a very similar student-led venture capital fund, but for UK, right? So through this platform, I would actually like to invite all of you to come and be part of the Campus Fund while we are trying to venture out of India and be in Singapore. If you're interested, we would like to onboard you as an investor. Be an investor. We have a ticket size of 50,000 Singapore dollars, right? And that way you get access to some of the brightest minds in the industry, and you get early access to them. Plus, you get an early access to all the student-led businesses from the university during the ideation stage or the MVP stage. You can also be onboarded as an advisor. You help us set up a fund in Singapore. You give us your industry connects, or you could come in as a student entrepreneur and get funded by Campus Fund. So this is my contact details. Please do get in touch with me if you feel this was interesting. Thank you so much, Linda, for the time.
Thank you, Manjesh. So Manjesh is speaking from India. He is going to join his class right now. Let's now welcome our second speaker, Mr. Tong Heng, NUS EMBA 2007. He is the Managing Director of SmartRX. Topic is Creative Invention SmartRX. It's a drug dispensing and telemedicine kiosk, of which one of the functions allows people to buy remotely and collect anytime from their booth. Heng, please.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I want to thank the organizer for inviting me to share the stories of my innovations. One of my guiding principles in life is this motto: doors will open if you try hard. Trust that when one door closes on you, another few doors will open. Just like these words of wisdom from Dalai Lama. So for Chinese family of my generation, it is very common for grandmothers to give their grandchildren a piece of jade for protection. Unfortunately, this grandma jade is always being forgotten or lost somewhere in the house. Why? Because a lot of us consider it as lao tu or old-fashioned. As art collectors, my wife and I felt that we can do something to preserve this tradition. Our idea is to use jade, create as a piece of art, and that people will want to wear it, flaunt it, or use as heirloom when they hand over to their next generation. Jade culture was thus set up with that intention. Here are some of the creations which brought the wow to the jewelry scene when we first launched here and in Greater China in 2012. We are very different from other jewelers in that they create designs around a piece of jade or stone. For us, we cut the stone and jade to fit our design, and we create art pieces for different lifestyles, including watches, spectacles, and handbags. No two pieces are alike, and they became highly sought after by the Tai-Tais, auction houses like Sotheby's, and collectors. Jade culture gave us a lot of fun and a little peek into the lifestyles of the crazy rich Asians. However, our calling is in healthcare, where we can touch many more lives, and most importantly, to help change the delivery of care. With almost 30 years in the medical industry, I acquired deep knowledge and network that gave me the confidence to innovate in a very highly regulated industry. My team works very hard to develop the SmartRM, a unique telemedicine solution, and SmartRX, a remote drug dispensing vending machine, which I will share now. I'm lucky my co-founders, Limbert and Bennett, shared the same vision as me. And we are also very lucky to have a good friend and mentor, Dr. Archibald Brain, who is one of the world's most renowned anesthetists, whose invention, the laryngeal mask, has changed the practices in anesthesia. My team's key breakthrough was winning the National Vital Sign Monitoring Project in 2016, which led to the creation of SmartRM and SmartRX. That opened the doors to new opportunities, like what is shown here. With our own IP, we are able to win the confidence of many healthcare professionals and take on jobs that others cannot. So what drives our innovation? I don't like to go to hospital as a caregiver or as a patient because of the multiple trips needed and the long waiting time at each touch point. The chart on the right shows the Consumer Satisfaction Index survey for Q4 2018. Waiting time and waiting experience affects the satisfaction level of patients across both the public and private healthcare. 90% of the telemedicine apps you see in the market today do not have remote vital sign monitoring. Mental health application is unheard of. Our SmartRM offers all of them. We designed SmartRM such that it can be flexibly deployed in any industry that requires digital healthcare services. As a top 10 winners in Peers Anyone, it opened the doors for us into the maritime industry. Recently, MPA awarded us to lead in a joint industry program to support crew health monitoring on board ships. We have smart devices and wearables for vital sign collections. Newcom, our partner, brought with a therapy for stress and fatigue relief, and we hope it can improve the crew mental health. Pixel Test, a point-of-care analyzer that conduct COVID-19 antigen rapid tests. We can deploy depending on the ship's satellite setup, whether in the cloud or on-premise. Of course, we offer scheduled or on-demand doctor services. These are examples of the crew view that shows various functions. These are examples of the doctor's view. For example, the doctors can remotely adjust the threshold and alert level for the vitals of each crew along the way. Institute of Mental Health Singapore reported in 2016 that 1 in 7 locals has experienced a mental disorder in their life. And the pandemic makes mental health a critical issue that's affecting even famous athletes like Simone Biles and Naomi Osaka in the recent Tokyo Olympic. Newcom, together with her proprietary voice-activated stress measurement apps, provides a non-drug stress and fatigue relief therapy. It opened a new doors to us, which differentiate us from other competitors. Pixel Test is the only mobile-based point-of-care testing analyzer with tests like COVID-19, lipids, and even diabetes. We offer it once HSA approval is obtained for COVID-19 tests. Another new door opens for us. MPA implemented a fit-to-travel protocol for crew change in May 2020, and our SmartRM has helped more than 15,000 crew change, allowing those crew to return to their loved ones. Another door opens for us with Tammy Robot, where SmartRM is installed to support a community group to monitor vital signs and state of health of the elderly in their own homes or at senior activity centers. Our second innovation is SmartRX. 75% of the patients prefer to collect their medicine after their doctor's consultation. In the 60s, the queue is just a number card where the nurse call out in sequence. Today, you still see people queuing at pharmacies in a hospital. Some even had to bring their own chair to stand in line. Why the problems with queues and waiting time cannot be solved despite the rapid advancement in technology? These are some of the ways our local hospitals have done to cut the waiting time. Installing expensive centralized pharmacy automation system, smart self-collection box, and with the pandemic, home delivery becomes the norm and will be for the future. This increases the cost of manpower for packing, audit compliances, follow-up calls, and the logistics. Despite all this, patients are still waiting. So we felt that automatic drug dispensing will help to distribute the patient load and queues at the pharmacies. We were the first to install medical vending machine for SingHealth Group for sales of OTC and medical devices in these hospitals. From the experience gained, we knew none of the existing vending machine in the market can meet the needs for remote drug dispensing. So it's pushed us to build our own drug dispensing machine to cater for OTC, PMED, and prescription medicine. Together with CGH, we built the drug vending machine that can meet the regulatory requirement for safe and reliable remote dispensing of medicines. We designed our first model, Gen 1.0, you can see here, as a common platform like in the car industry. It can dispense OTC and pharmacist-only medicine. By adding an auto-labeling robotic arm, it's transformed into Gen 1.5 that allows printing of label on each pack of medicine. This is required by law in Singapore for prescription medicine. Gen 1.0 is pending HSA audit, and we hope to launch in the next 2 months at CGH. I'll skip this. The pandemic has accelerated adoption of digital health like telemedicine and drug dispensing vending machines. And we are lucky that our SmartRM and SmartRX are in these two fastest growing. The Future Clinics is the most exciting project for us. It brings together two of our technologies into one new concept. It provides real-time vital signs info during doctor's consultation, and immediately after your consultation, it collects your medicine, your MC, and referral letter thereafter. They experience like an outpatient clinic. MINDEF has awarded us a contract for this Future Clinic, and we expect to launch by October this year. With Future Clinics, I believe it can help reduce my trips to the hospitals and the agony of waiting in line for medicine. So thank you for your time, and hope that the doors will open for you in the pursuit of your dreams. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Peng Heng. That was very interesting. So now let's welcome our third speaker, Mr. JC Sekar, EMBA 2009, CEO and co-founder of AcuiZen. Topic: Innovative ways of doing things, enabling individuals with intelligence and intuition through AcuiZen, the super app for work. JC, please.
Good morning to all of you, and thank you to the organizers for this opportunity. It's really a pleasure to be talking to all of you. Right, so I will try to keep the presentation brief. So basically, AcuiZen is really a product of Singapore. It's a no-code application. When you say no-code, it means you really don't need to worry about doing any coding work for using the platform. And it's facilitating what we call as people-centric digital transformation. So our belief is that while digital transformation is critical and one of the important needs, this needs to go hand in hand with the upskilling of the workforce. We all know that digitalization is not an option anymore. I mean, it's no longer an option, it's a requirement. And if you want to stay current, if your organization wants to stay current, I think it's important that we keep the work and workforce integrated. In other words, the future of work really depends on the future of the workforce. And the response that we currently do is by tell that we can send people to training and get them upskilled. But I think we all know from a practical point of view, mere training is not sufficient. There needs to be a way in which people are able to implement what they learn and thereby becoming upskilled in what they do. So we believe that there is a need to better integrate work and learning so that learning is an ongoing process, not by doing classroom. I know NES probably doesn't like when I say that you have to do it in a classroom, but the reality is people learn from multiple ways. Okay, so that's what we are trying to do through this platform. How does it work? I think we built it with what we call as a modular form, so that there are multiple widgets that can be combined in any fashion. And using that, we can deploy the application for multiple learning and work-related activities. So that's the way this thing works. And I'm not going to go into the details of all of these things. So the application itself has got two components to it. One is there is a platform through which the content is actually curated. It's a simple platform through which an organization can curate whatever it needs as part of its work. So it's really work-related information that's curated, and that's presented to the user in the form of a mobile application. So the mobile application is something where the user accesses the content. I'll give you a quick look at what are the key functionalities. So within the app, for example, an individual can have, let's say, access to any document they need as part of work. It could be a PDF document, it could be a standard operating procedure, it could be in any language. So these are all things that are available within the application. We also have access to maybe specific actions they need to take as part of work. It's work-related actions that have been assigned. You also have access to learning modules or even work-related modules. For example, I may be giving instructions on, what do I need to do if I were to do, let's say, a site operation, if I want to do something on site. So you have your so-called work-related information available in the form of, text, audio, video, whatever media format you want. You can also provide compliance that you're actually doing activities the way they're supposed to be done. So you can take pictures, you can report on all of it. And eventually, if you have a doubt and you want to kind of talk to people, you can also have within the platform a collaborative feature whereby you can go back and say that I want to have a conversation with my team on a specific topic. I can have a generic conversation, or I share multiple topics with this group. So I want to have a conversation with the group on a specific topical related issue. So I can go there and have those conversations. So a bit like a Slack and a bit like a WhatsApp, except that it doesn't have those good evenings and good mornings mixed in there. So this is, and then every time I do something, I also have a knowledge index, which is really an algorithm that based on your capturing and responding to the questions and the way it's responded, you have a knowledge index, which ranges from 0 to 100. That if you break it down, it tells you what kind of an individual are you at work. Are you a high-risk individual? Are you a low-risk individual? We also have a reactivation index, which really measures the extent to which you are participating in post-learning activities and the extent to which you're able to do that. And action is really about how relevant are you, or how well are you undertaking those actions which you're doing. We also have within the platform a 360 radar where you can find out how are you performing vis-a-vis your enterprise on different personality-related issues. Or it could be any other method. This is all fully configurable, so I could be putting different things in the radar. So basically, if I were to summarize, this is a platform in which as a end user, typically a frontline end user, I have access to all the knowledge I need for work. I have access for all the information I need to perform tasks. I have access to my colleagues. And I also have access to tools, which is where you can digitalize, an organization can digitalize and put their specific workflow related tools. It could be something like a simple checklist where I can go back and say that I want to do this checklist, so fill out this checklist as part of work. Or it could be a slightly more complicated workflow, such as what we call as in the engineering industry, what's called as a permit to work system. So you can go back and say that, I want to apply for a permit to work. This is the type of permit I want to work. So in other words, we are blending the work-related information and the work-related tools into one application, because if an individual can work and learn from the same platform, the learning can be more sticky and thereby you can continually upskill. So that's the core belief in which this platform is built. We've been around since 2015, and the philosophy really is, on the one hand, you need to continuously provide people the information, communicate the requirements. On the other hand, people need to be also pulling that information, which is the contextual knowledge, performing tasks. And by doing all of this, you're actually generating that operational data, which is required for driving improvements in quality, safety, productivity, and profitability. So we've been around since 2015, like I mentioned. We've got a multiple go-to-market options. We go B2B, in which case it's a simple SaaS product. We also have white-labeled applications, and we have custom applications that we build for multiple users. We work with companies like MTR in Hong Kong, the Saudi Aramco company. So we've been around and we've been working with multiple institutions. So I am a co-founder, and our USP really is blending work and learning. That's the key thing. Eventually, it's all about driving upskilling as well as digitalization. Those are the two things that we're trying to achieve. Happy to partner with other companies. I mean, if you want to come in as a client, more than happy. But if there are any other partnership opportunities, I'd love to talk to you. So that's my contact information.
So thank you very much, JC. So let's move on to our fourth speaker, Mr. Abhay Swarup Mittal, EMBA 2008, who's our Chief Product Officer at EOfactory. Topic, applicability of AI in agriculture. Agriculture being one of the key sectors of sustainability towards food security can be supported with AI technology for predictions and yield analytics. Abhay, please.
Thank you very much, Linda. So, why Singapore? And that too for agriculture. We don't have agriculture here, but Singapore is the hub. A lot of supply chain activities happens through the Singapore port. And around Singapore, at the distance of 5 hours, you have India, you have Indonesia, you have Philippines, Thailand, Vietnam. All these countries, all are agri-related. So how did we come across in terms of focusing in this segment? So our vision is that the platform is mainly focused on agri-sustainability, food security. Where is the food being grown? How do we actually generate all the information about all the agriculture products? So we work with some of the commodity companies, identify where corn is grown, where is paddy, where is wheat, so that they can go and source these agriculture products from these locations. So in order to be able to generate, because this is live, every day the land is changing, every day the products are changing. The agri products are, they are sown to harvested. So the process, we have to use data, a lot of data every day, every week, the crops are changing because they are growing. So we used a lot of satellite images. In order to extract this information, we use AI and then use a dashboard for the intelligence in where it is being grown. So, some of the examples of the new technology applications are like Internet of Things. So, what is, how do we get soil samples? How do we get weather information? How do we see historical information? How do we see prediction in the future? We use drones. We use AI to extract the information, look at the plant diseases, the prediction of the weather. And finally, we are also looking at blockchain. How do you actually want to find out the source? Are you buying the product which you think that it is right for you to use? People are claiming that these are organic. People are claiming certain standards of growing. So are we able to get that information? So this is where the whole value chain for agriculture comes in. Farmers are one of the users, because they can also be, the recipient of this kind of information for insurance purpose. When their crops are damaged, they take loans to grow the crops, and then if their crops are damaged, how do they actually get back their money from the insurance companies, fertilizers companies, seed company, how much fertilizer is being used? So there are multiple stakeholders within the entire value chain of what we do. It's again, how do you position it? Some of our clients are big commodity companies. Olam is one of the Singapore-based companies. Cargill, Bayer, they do a lot of maize mapping. And there is an insurance company, Allianz Insurance in India, who are using our platform for giving the crop loss information to the farmers so that they can get their insurance claims done. And some of the agriculture department in Thailand and others are using our platform. So how did we get the name EOfactory? I just had a very interesting course that I did at product innovation in Harvard, where the initial studies on the book was launched called The Competing in the Age of AI. If anyone wants to really learn a lot about AI, I think it's a good book which is coupled with business, and it talks about data pipeline, gather, clean, normalize data. This is one of the most important steps of the AI. So then you have algorithm development, and then you put it on an infrastructure. So this is where we came up with the complete architecture of our EOfactory. EO is Earth observation. So Earth observation is a lot of data. So all this data has to be prepared, has to be processed. So that's why we build the platform to prepare. It requires rigorous scientific standards. So because every day the atmosphere is changing, there is so much of information in the atmosphere which is which is basically generating helping the crops keep moving to the next level in terms of the atmosphere. So we have to do a lot of processing. That's where we have built the platform. We use mobile apps to collect information about the particular crop and then use this as training data sets to train and identify which crops are growing where. So it is first of all the information about the farmer, about the location of the crop, what crop, which season, what date, what is the stage of the crop. All these are taken. Photographs are taken. We actually use AI to identify what crop or what type of crop it is. So once we have that information, you get it. Yeah. So we get it into a dashboard where we get information about the crop. That's how the crop field looks like. You can see that. And then you bring it into a dashboard where you get the information about, okay, where is the mustard crop, how much it is growing, which location, which district. So this is where we get cashew planting. And this is how you get each farm. So every single farm, this is again a kind of a fabric that is generated by us. We are very unique in the world to actually generate this kind of farm boundaries. And then you get the information about every single farmer. So we are doing these live projects. And the next thing we are working on is to integrate farms to farmers with blockchain so that we can then start to look at traceability and sourceability. So I think this gives you the complete overview of how AI is being used in agriculture. We have our offices in Southeast Asia, India, and the countries where we have access to the markets. And we are now looking at, we also have some customers in Latin America, Europe, and expanding to the US. So we have a lot of opportunities in which, if there are any relevant people who are interested in working with us, we'll be more than happy to work. Thank you very much. You imagine we deliver. That's how we keep our tagline. And if you have any ideas and, want to connect with me, I'm more than happy. Please let me know. I'll share my details in the chat.
Thank you very much, Abhay. That's a very interesting presentation. Okay, let's now welcome our fifth speaker, Derrick Loi, EMBA 2012, General Manager of Ant Group. He is zooming in from Hangzhou, China. The topic is Trust, New Currency of the Digital Economy. Derrick, please.
Absolutely. Thanks, Linda. The topic I have in mind today is, less on product, right, or even solutions, but, more of a phenomena that I'm observing, right? So I'll just go straight, dive right in, right? It is about how I see trust as emerging as the new currency for the digital economy. Just a quick introduction of myself. I'm Singaporean. I'm currently on business trip in Hangzhou, which is the HQ for Ant Group. So I'm the GM for the international business of intelligent technology. Previously I've been with Microsoft, with Orange Business Services. I was also with Singtel for many years. I was a scholar there. Now, I really love to share first about how, we see the evolution of industries, right, over the years. So in today's, era, we are into what you call Industry 4.0, which is really based upon the productive enablers, right? The industry enablers of Internet of Things, data, AI, and so on and so forth, right? So we have come a long way. But what is also interesting is, that we are seeing a new currency, right? I mean, it used to be oil, then it's data, right? But now we are actually seeing a new currency that will drive digital economy going forward. And it will be especially so since, COVID has driven a lot more of our transactions online, right? Even the webinar or the forum that we're having today, ideally it should be together, right, in a theater, in an auditorium, but we are now having it online. So, therefore, data by itself, right, though it's an important currency, is no longer enough, right? You have so many options of who you can engage with. You have so many options of who you can buy from, right? And this is where, as the picture imply, beyond data, you actually need to have some insight. And that insight will give you the ability to then trust a certain party and therefore make that connection, make that transaction. And that is why I'm saying that data is actually now the currency of the new digital economy, above and beyond just data. And this is especially relevant, as we deal with the new normal of global trade in a post-pandemic world, right? So as I've mentioned earlier, COVID has driven a lot of our transactions online. We have so many options now, right? So how do you derive actionable insight into the parties that you're dealing with so that you end up trusting and therefore buying from a certain party or transacting with a certain party? Now, at the same time, what I would like to highlight is we are all aware and we all agree that actually COVID has affected the SMEs more than the large enterprises, right? And SME being the pillar, right, the core pillar of most GDP, is where they are now thinking above and beyond how they can actually really catch on to the global digital trade. And this is where, Eng Group, right, we focus very much on providing capabilities such that trust is a key part of that, right? And this then allows us to accelerate adoption, all right, of the digital economy, which is so crucial, right, to the recovery and the re-emerging from the COVID pandemic. And at the end of the day, there are many capabilities that some of my colleagues, some of my classmates have highlighted earlier, that's really coming together to bring about the trust element, right? So beyond the usual data security, confidential computing, enterprise blockchain, and AIoT, we are actually now seeing very interesting use cases of how all these technologies are brought together, are integrated together to deliver that insight to then enable trust, right? So I will share a couple of use cases here. Provenance. Let's start with the very top left, right? And that is product provenance. Increasingly, there are many high-value assets that has a short delivery window, and there is a lot of concern about whether these high-value assets are being delivered timely, without any leakage, without any corruption. Most importantly, without any substitution, and in many cases, such as healthcare, the ability to do recall, right, for any defective batches. So this is something which, again, it all centers around the trust in the platform, in the delivery, so that you will use ultimately the high value assets, for your own personal or business use. In that regard, I'll perhaps like to share this example, right, which I think is very relevant for all of us today, right? So a lot of most, if not all, countries are now, actively in the recovery phase to deal with the pandemic, and vaccine distribution is key, right, in this fight against COVID. Now, in order to secure the journey from lab to arm, right, from the lab which manufactures the vaccine to the arm in which you insert or inject the vaccine, there are a couple of key success criteria that we have to look out for. First, immutability, meaning no changes to the actual vaccine that's being distributed, no change to the amount that's being distributed, so no leakage, the ability for recall, which we all can understand, and most importantly, the storage condition or the what you call shipping conditions, throughout the distribution phase, right? That means the right in the middle there, the vaccine distribution from the lab to the area CDC, to the state CDC, and eventually to the vaccination center. So this is where AIoT coupled with the right enterprise blockchain, coupled with the right security, confidential compute, will enable us to have confidence and trust that a vaccine is delivered safely. Another use case that I would like to share with you is about copyright protection, right? So again, as we increasingly move more and more into the digital economy, there's a lot of consumption of digital media, right? Digital licenses. So how do you actually protect the rights of the digital licensee, right? So that they are able to then monetize, right, their creative ideas and so on and so forth. And this again is where there are solutions, right, which allows us to protect the digital media. A lot of SMEs are now going online, so it's important to protect not only the creative digital media, but some of the data assets. How do we ensure that there's good and even distribution, especially for very high value assets such as certain test kits, oxygen tank, oxygen generator. So data asset sharing, right? Having the trust that the right amount is allocated to the right places, the right resources are allocated to the right places. Then last but not least is supply chain finance, right? Again, I was talking about the fact that SMEs are the most affected. SMEs might not have the resources of large enterprises to get financing, yet they do need financing, and they need to have a settlement platform that's global in nature, so that a SME in China can, for example, transact with a SME in Singapore and globally, right? And with that trust. So these are all solutions that Eng Group provides, to really, enable, right, the digital economy, and hopefully to allow all of us to recover better, right, from the COVID pandemic. So I'll keep it light. Thank you so much. I will leave my contact details in the chat panel.
Thank you, Derrick. So let's move on to the sixth and final speaker, Mr. Luigi Tona, EMBA 2021, CEO, StorHub Self-Storage. Topic is creating connections and partnerships. Luigi, please.
Thank you very much. I'm enjoying the heck out of myself right now. And I've got tears in my eyes. It's so wonderful. But I hope nobody ever feels no stress about this, because no one's dying. Everybody's having fun here. This is all that it's about. It's about creating connections and partnerships. And that's what we're doing today. So guys, a lot of folks, when I joined the EMBA, people ask me, why are you joining an EMBA? And especially one guy, he was a devil's advocate for this. And he said, sit down. Why are you joining this EMBA? I said, I guess the people I can meet, right? NUS is a great school, great alumni. And the things I'll learn. And he stopped me. He said, no, it's not about the things you'll learn. Okay. Because that would be wasting your time. It's about the people you meet. It's only ever about the people that you meet, and that's why you join an EMBA. You can learn. He said very outright, and no one can ever really contest it. You can learn these things on YouTube. And I even said this in class. I said, okay, I get it. He said it's about the alumni you belong to and the people you meet within there in your class, because that's everything that you'll take away. So this is ever what an EMBA is all about. That's ever what the MBA is all about. An MBA is a bit more thorough in a lot of things that you'll learn, but that EMBA is about connections, about that growth. And that's all that it ever is. In life, one person you meet will connect you to another person and another person for whatever you're trying to achieve. And we've heard of now an hour of different presentations of people trying to achieve big things, whether in small companies or big companies. It's all gotten they've all gotten there through a connection. And that one connection, the next time, will put them over the top for that little project that they're trying to make, and it'll go from there. And the next one and the next one. And there's only ever two rules when creating connections, because this is what we're all here for. This is what it's all about. It's about getting involved. Okay. The number one rule is get involved. If there's something that's happening, you have to get involved. You can't sit on the couch. It's not going to happen if you're sitting there saying, I wish I could have, I should have, I would have. Nothing. You're not going to get anything from that. So you got to get involved. And then after that, you're only a stranger until you say hello. You can show up to your networking event And say I showed up, but nobody wanted to talk to me. Did you go talk to someone? You got to say hello. You can't just get on your phone and start texting your friends. You're only a stranger until you say hello. This is how networking is done, and you just get it, and you just get into it. So this is a few events that we held at the beginning of the year, and then we got shut down by lockdown. Basically, it's people getting involved and interacting and networking with one another. Listen, these events are fun. And I know some people and some of these events, they might feel pressure to interact, but then they always say to themselves, but they want to grow their network, right? Or they took an MBA, EMBA for different reasons, and that's fine. A lot of us took the EMBA to network, to grow our network, to grow our opportunities. And quite frankly, and EMBA is wonderful because it puts us in a similar situation with a similar age group. They're looking to achieve a similar thing, maybe divert from what they're trying to do, achieve something more. And so we have the rest of our runway to make it our best earning runway. So it's all about your network, guys. I'm happy to connect. That's my email. That's my LinkedIn. We do have an EMBA WhatsApp group, which you can ask me for details directly. And there's also, of course, LinkedIn. NUS has done a wonderful job of their BIZAlumni networking. So they have a lot of different groups. That's all I got today, guys. So it's all about your network. I look forward to being connected. Thank you.
Thank you, Luigi. You didn't speak for 10 minutes, so that was really nice, short and sweet and to the point. So networking is most important. Are there any questions? There's a question from Jejun Chow. What are the challenge and opportunities for Ant Financial? Derrick, would you like to answer that?
Sure. I would say that the challenges and opportunities for Ant Financial would be similar to, any companies that are trying to go international, right? So first and foremost, let's start with the challenges. There is always regulatory challenges. It is widely reported that the Chinese government is very careful and also working closely with a lot of the internet digital companies to ensure there's sustainable growth, right? But I see it as, what you call a positive development, because if you look at, on the other hand, there are other countries where the internet companies, the digital companies have actually taken over the economy in a big way. And now it is actually the reverse. They are trying very hard to pull them back in, right? So I think sustainable long-term growth is always much better than short-term growth that benefits only a few individuals, right? So that is, I would say, regulatory challenges, especially as we enter into the new digital age. Everything is the first. Even the pandemic is a new normal for us. That is applicable to all companies, right, from all countries. But at the same time, therefore, this is an opportunity, right? Which is why I was highlighting earlier that, as we all, embark into this new digital age where, it's all about online transactions, digital transactions, how do you actually enable trust, right? And I think this is where Ant Financial has that head start, right? We are globally recognized for our payment, our digital payment, our capabilities in fintech, and that is an area where trust is absolutely essential, right? So we are starting with that strong background and that strong heritage to then move into many other areas where trust is equally important, such as vaccine traceability, such as digital creative and copyright protection. So, I just wanted to share that, but I'm quite sure all of you can agree with me on that.
Shall we just take a screenshot of everyone who's still standing here? Would you mind turning on your videos so that we have a picture of you? 1, 2, 3, smiley wiley. Thank you. We have come to the end of the BIZAlum Innovation in Business Forum, Game Changers with creative and innovative ideas. Thank you to all our 6 presenters, Manjesh, Heng, JC, Abhay, Derrick, and Luigi, for sharing the experience, expertise, and knowledge. So do remember again to register and stay connected with this new app called Connect Us. And for those who are from BIZAlum, we really would appreciate if you join us at the BIZAlum LinkedIn. So goodbye, everyone. Thank you very much, and we'll be in touch. Bye-bye.